ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home, and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 329. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
Going on, man? We're back to our regularly scheduled program.
We are back to regular scheduled programming. That's right. Back in the swing of things. I'm very happy right now, Dan. I saw one of the best live performances in my entire life.
Wait, you saw Jay-Z and Beyonce?
I would love to see Jay-Z and Beyonce, actually. I heard they put on a very good show.
They do. I was there when the Barclays Center opened.
Oh, yeah, they did it like a couple nights. Yeah.
I was there. Wait. I was there for night 2 or night 3. I wasn't there for the first night. That was sold out for like months.
Yeah.
I was there for night 2, night 3. I think I was there for night 3.
Yeah. I remember when that happened because my friend Jay was in town and he wanted to watch it, and they were simulcasting it, I think, on YouTube. So I hooked my laptop up to the TV. We watched the whole concert. Oh, it was great. It was great. Nothing like being there.
Whichever day Fabulous came out.
Okay.
I don't know. Because there's like different special guests that came out like each day.
Damn, Fabulous. Yeah, that takes me back. Yeah. But no, I got to see Rammstein in concert, which whoo! If you know anything about that band, they are brutal in concert.
I know nothing about that band. Who is that?
They are the number one German musical band. They top David Hasselhoff as the most successful musical export out of Germany. Yeah, man. They've been going almost 30 years, funny enough. Their 30th anniversary is coming up in 2 years, I think.
I don't think they export David Hasselhoff. I think they imported his ass.
I think he's German. Hasselhoff?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
With a name like Hasselhoff, he's definitely some sort of Northern European descent.
Yeah, okay, but he still is American. He's like from America.
I mean, right. You know, we know him as the Knight Rider, of course.
And Baywatch.
Yes. And also
he had two hit shows. Don't forget that.
But I have to say, first time at Lincoln Financial Field, which is where the Eagles play. So
Philadelphia, for people who don't watch football.
Mm-hmm. We were on the 50-yard line, which was like almost to the T, right on the 50-yard line, which was wild. And they had a big setup close to the end zone. And, you know, you can watch, for anyone who's interested, there's clips online, and one of them is like a setup video. And it's a time-lapse video of them just setting up the stage. And it takes them like 6 days to set this thing up. It's insane.
Crazy.
Like, the whole entire field is covered with like padding, right? So you don't mess up the ground and all that. And also to protect the fans' feet, they give you a little bit of cushioning and all that. So that's kind of cool. And then they have like, the the audio visual booth, right? They have a smaller stage above that area where the opening act performed and where the band got out to at one point. Then they have the big monolith stage with like just towers. I mean, there's so much scaffolding and lighting rigs and like jets of fire that just come out everywhere. Like, they are big on the pyrotechnics. And
sounds like you went to a real life like video game, last villain boss level.
Kind of, yeah. And like every song was a big production. They would come out in new outfits. Sometimes they'd have flamethrowers, or they'd have instruments that were equipped with like flame jets or whatever, which would be part of the song. They'd kind of sync it all up. Yeah, the stage like moved around. I mean, it was wild. It's a good time.
Okay. All right. Well, I would say one of my emails was compromised. So I opened up a new email account.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like changing all my passwords, changing, the main email, primary email on all the websites. And I got like a little bit of a game of grief. This counts. This counts because it's video game related, right? Limited run, and I am 8-bit. You cannot change your screen name, which is your email. You can't change it. You can update your password, but you can't change screen name. Now, that's an issue because what if you, I don't want to say dumb enough, but if you're dumb enough to use your work email as your primary email for these accounts, right?
Yeah.
Right? Some people do. I know a lot of people who use their work email because they think they're going to work there forever, right? And then something happens and you're no longer there, and you don't have access to that email anymore, right? Or you get hacked and you want to change it. You can't do it. And I have one game. I got Stray from PS5. I got that game waiting for my IM8. I should get that soon. So after that's done, I don't have to worry about anything. But for limited run, I have like 7 games waiting to be delivered. Right?
Damn.
And God knows who knows when I'll get those games. Probably, maybe. And then new games will come up. Right? So I sent an email to support. It takes about a week for them to get back to you. So hopefully by next show, I'll have an answer. Hopefully this gets resolved.
Okay.
If not, then I don't know. I have to keep the compromised email open just so I can, just in case I have to do anything with limited run. Because that seems to be the only issue, the only place I can't change my email. Everywhere else, even as much as you hate GameStop, I can change my email. All right.
Yeah.
You can change your email, and I do have orders coming from GameStop too, and I can change my email. No problem. It took 1, 2, 3.
Now, I had a similar issue with talking about using your work email or professional email or whatever. I had a similar issue with Xbox Live because I signed up with the email to my website, which I'm like, I'm never going to change this. It's going to be around forever. I don't have that domain anymore because I like rebranded it. So that's all shut down. You can't change it because you don't have access to it, or I didn't have access to it anymore. Luckily, I was able to find a workaround because you can add a secondary email, and I still remembered the password, thankfully. So I was able to get in and make some changes on the website and do all that. But that could have been disastrous.
So I will say I changed the email on all the major consoles, Switch, PS5, Xbox Live. You need access to your old email, right?
Yep.
So you can verify and then verify a new email. So that's what I did. So no issues there. So I just got a little bit of grief with limited run. Like I should be able to, I should be able to change my email, if anything.
The next time we go to their booth, you should totally let them know.
Oh, we'll be there in 2023. Pass.
That's right.
Dave, let's get this show on the road. We have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about a new Assassin's Creed game announced. Well, it was leaked and then officially announced right afterwards. And then we're going to talk about Sony making another acquisition, but not the one that you may think. But before we get into any of that, let's begin the show with Halo Infinite and couch co-op or split screen co-op.
Mm-hmm.
It's officially been canceled.
Yeah.
By 343.
Co-op's still happening. Just the couch co-op on the same screen.
Yes.
Can't do it.
343 announced details at their winter update. We're finally getting Forge mode where you can create your own content, and that's coming out November 8th, right? But they did cancel split screen or couch co-op. So, and a lot of people are really upset about this, and at first I didn't understand why, and like who who plays couch co-op anymore. But then you got to realize for the last 2 years, people have been stuck indoors, not able to really go out and see anybody, right? You usually go out to the beach, or you're always wearing a mask. You're not really going to someone's house,
right?
Unless it's outside,
right?
Right. But now, as things try to come back to normal, people are vaccinated, people are boosted, or they just don't care. They're going to people's houses, and you may want to play some Halo together, just like the old days, right?
Yeah.
Back in the college days when the original Halo came out.
Yep. Those were some golden times.
Yeah.
Golden times.
You may want to play some couch co-op. You can do it with other games. There are other games you can do it with. Why can't we do it with Halo?
Right.
They said it was coming. And now it's officially not.
So I think the issue is specifically with the older Xbox One, with the beta machine, as Dan likes to call it.
It's a big machine.
Can't handle it, right? It has a tough time with it to begin with, but...
Wait. Before I hate to cut you off, just let you know. The original designer of the beta machine, they resurrected that person and brought them in to design the original Xbox One.
Okay.
It looked like a beta machine. It's a beta machine. I'm sorry.
It does look like a Betamax machine. I know. It's big, it's clunky, but I love it. Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a hindrance. I love that they tried to get parity on both, and so far there is, everything you can do on the series version, you can do on the older versions, but it struggles a little bit, right? And that was kind of part of their problem, which is why they implemented you have to be within 1,000 yards or whatever it is, or 1,000 meters of your person in the game world. You have to be close enough to them because you can't just be running off and doing whatever. I kind of understand that. The other thing that's interesting too is that I didn't realize, because I knew that the co-op wasn't even enabled even over the internet yet. But I was at my friend's house on Tuesday before we went to the show on Wednesday, and I was like, "Oh, why don't we go and play some Halo?" He's like, "All right." So I haven't done the campaign yet. And I was like, "Okay." And then we found out that he didn't have it yet, so he had to download it. So we set the download up to go. I'm like, "Why don't we just play multiplayer? Because, we won't be able to do split screen co-op with the multiplayer because it's just not ready yet." So, or with the other campaign. So we did the other multiplayer, and it did the split screen, two people on the same screen. It did kind of split it up. We were able to kick ass and win a bunch of games, but I didn't realize that was even a thing, right? Because it's all kind of. It's a big screen experience for you and you alone, and they want you to play online and buy the service and play with your friends that way. So I was amazed that even worked. But
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Played fine. Didn't have any hiccups or anything. It was pretty solid. But
well, speaking of service, they definitely want you to get Games Pass. 100%. Right? And one of the things that they're doing is sort of scaling back with Xbox games, Gold. Right? You can't get that anymore. You literally have to buy Games Pass, essentially.
Yep.
Right? Because that's what they want. But if you do have games with Gold, this month will be the last month you can get an Xbox 360 game. Rest in peace. Last year we stopped getting. Was it last year? I think it was last year. If not, maybe a year and a half. We stopped getting PS3 games.
Yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Xbox kept giving us 360 games, right? And they're going to stop this month. So the last Xbox 360 game that we'll get will be Portal 2. Not a bad finale, all right?
Nope. That game is solid. Humor's on point. They expand out the universe, and it's got arguably the best monologue in video game history by a one J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons, the man who played the head of the Daily Bugle. He gives an amazing monologue as Cave Johnson in that game. Oh, it's so good.
And just to flesh out the rest, games with gold, you're going to get Thrillville, an OG Xbox game.
Sure.
Then you get, for Xbox One, you get Gods Will Fall and Double Kick Heroes.
Oh, those games are great, yeah.
It's crazy, nothing AAA, right? Nothing too crazy. I mean, they really are scaling back on this, and not giving, really great games. Sony's been giving pretty good games the last few months for, PlayStation Plus, but they're really focused on premium, so the premium tier games. So that's where we're headed. 2 years from now, 2 years from now, everything is going to be no free games. It's just subscription services. That's
I mean that's where they make the most amount of money on, right? Because if they give you, Halo, well, they do give you Halo for free. The multiplayer.
They do give you Halo for free.
If they give you like the single player Halo for free, and if they give you the next Call of Duty and the next whatever, it's like, why would you bother paying for their subscription service? But
yeah. And as a side note, I love Sonic. I know a lot of people love Sonic. There's a lot of Sonic hate out there for some odd reason. Maybe because I'm nostalgic for the original trilogy.
Odd reason? They made a lot of terrible Sonic games, Dan. Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic 06.
The Black Knight wasn't. No. The Black Knight.
It was terrible.
Wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't.
No,
it
was pretty terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
Half of Sonic Unleashed, terrible.
Sonic Unleashed was okay.
I said half of it. I said half of it. You're talking about the good half. Because then he turns into a werehog and does all this stupid stuff.
I think that's cool. That's something inventive, something different, right?
Yeah, in concept, it's great. In execution, it falls on its face.
Yeah, it definitely fell on its face. But Sonic Team, with the resurgence of Sonic with the movies, right? We had Sonic Mania a couple of years ago, and now we have Sonic Frontiers, which looks to be like a big open world Sonic game. Sonic Team is aiming to sort of make a connected universe, not a cinematic universe, because they're not adding the movie to this, but a connected universe with comics, the Netflix show that's coming out, and the games. So that could be cool that they're putting all this focus on Sonic. Maybe if Sonic Frontiers is even I'll say an 8 out of 10, right? That could jumpstart, the new wave of Sonic games.
Sure.
Because I guarantee you we're getting a Sonic Mania 2. That's happening. Guaranteed.
We should have had it announced or even out. It should have been out by now.
I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to take away from Sonic Frontiers, right? I think they want to put all their focus in that. And once they build that up and that is a thing.
But they already made a Forces, right? They already made other Sonic games since Mania, and Sonic Mania was such a high point.
Sonic Forces come first? Didn't
Sonic Forces came after? I think it came after. Yeah, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't. The thing with those Sonic games, holds your hand. You don't really have the freedom to do the combat yourself.
Oh yeah,
really. It's holding your hand. It's really just smash the button at the right time, and it will do it for you. You don't have to direct. So I think that's the thing. I think they had a hard time doing with these 3D Sonic games, and hopefully they fix that with Frontiers.
Sure, but even with I just want to go back. Even with Frontiers coming out. If you put a Mania 2 out, it's a completely different game. The mascot's still the same, and the lore is still the same, but
you don't want to take away from it. So let's put all our money into Frontiers right now and promote that. Yeah. And then once that's out, then we put all our eggs into Mania 2, because we already know the nostalgia. People who love the older games are going to buy that.
That's right.
That's money. We know that's money already, so we don't have to really worry about that.
Yeah.
They have to do a lot to screw that up. So let's put all our money, put all our chip to the table with Frontiers, make that a big thing, and then garner some goodwill and then we'll put out Mania right afterwards because we already know that's just going to be the icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Ooh. I've been getting back into it. I think I mentioned on the previous show that I started playing Eye of the Beholder for the PC. It is the D&D games, or the AD&D game, the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games. That came out on PC.
We've heard of that.
Oh, AD&D was great. Original D&D had a lot of issues. AD&D really kind of fleshed out
you're saying,
the game.
You're saying a lot of acronyms.
You know what D&D is. You know D&D.
I feel like you need to see a doctor about that.
You know what D&D is.
You have D&D, AD&D, DGDD, BDGD. Yeah, a lot of. Okay, you gotta see a doctor about that.
All right, I'm not gonna. You know what AD&D is. Get out of here.
I have no idea. I've never heard it. I've never heard of that. I'll be honest. I've never heard of that.
Yes.
I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I'm not that nerdy.
It's just they always, every like couple of years, they'll revamp the rule set. To kind of try and balance it out, add new stuff, but ultimately it's really to sell you more stuff. They give you more rule books, right? Because all the rules have changed. They give you more modules to play and the whatever, so they can make a ton of money at it. So it's like, it's a win-win, I think, in a way. But yeah, so like Eye of the Beholder was like a trilogy set, and I beat the first one. I am now in the middle of the second one, and it's so good, bringing back all the nostalgia from like way back when. And this was a time before I had internet, right? So I had to use the internet at my school. So I remember I was hitting a lot of roadblocks in these games, and I got through a lot of it, but then got stuck in a lot of these games. So I eventually ended up going to the internet. Somebody like had a whole like guide, right? Because that was like, I think GamesFAQs just started up. It was a thing. People would make guides or whatever. So I found guides to all 3 games, and I found out all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, now I can beat them. So I'm looking to do all 3. I'm in the middle of 2 right now. And
remember back in the day we actually had to call 800 number, call Nintendo because you have an issue.
I asked my parents a couple times. Yeah, I did that for a couple games because you just didn't know, and you're trying to get it out real quick, right? Because you don't want to waste all your parents' money.
Yeah.
How do I do this thing in this game?
Back when you had to pay for a phone call, it was per minute. It wasn't just like,
my God,
you paid, whatever the $10 just for the call. You could be on the phone for a limited amount of time now. But back then it was nope. Yep. All right, 10 minutes. That's $30.
Yep. Oh God, it was so much.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So what have you been playing, Dan?
I've been playing TMNT, the Cowabunga Collection. I have it on the Switch.
Oh, talk about nostalgia.
I haven't put that much time into it, about an hour, but just flipping through different games just to see how they play. Mm-hmm. So I remember playing the first game, and I don't know how far I made it, and I just hated it. I think I broke my controller.
You talk about the NES, the first NES.
The first NES, yeah. Mm-hmm. I never played the arcade game.
Okay.
Growing up, I never played the arcade. I didn't really go to the arcade that much as a kid. So I don't have like those nostalgia. It's the arcade. Like I went there maybe like once a year to the arcade.
Right.
It was like whenever we went to the carnival in the summertime. Mm-hmm. So I didn't I wasn't keeping up with this is the new arcade game and it's a port. To me, this is the new Turtles game. I didn't know Turtles 2 was the port technically of the first one of the first game, right? That was in the arcade.
Yeah.
I hated that game. And guess what? With Rewind, I still hate that game.
You hate the arcade game?
No. NES game. The NES game.
You hate the first one. Okay.
Yeah, I still hate that game. Okay. I broke not my controller. I think I broke my friend's controller. I threw it on the ground. I couldn't take
that game. That game is legit tough. And there's a lot of jumps that. Well, there's one infamous one that's not really a jump. You can just walk right over. But a lot of them require this like precise, just tap of the button, and you just kind of to like get over. Ugh.
You know what makes no sense? This is what makes no sense. I'm sorry. I just frustration came back to me just 20 28 years of frustration came back, rushing back to me. I think I was like 10 when I played this.
Right.
You go into one of these houses, not the sewer. You go into one of the houses because like they had the hub world originally, and you go. So you go into the house. You're low on like health, and you see the pizza box like above you, and you have to go traverse to go get it. Right? You would think once you get it, they would give you an exit so you could leave. Since you got full health.
All the way back. Yep.
No, you have to go all the way back. Guess what? All these damn enemies respawn. So. Once I get back, I'm back to low health. So I should have never went in the first place to try to get the pizza. Makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah, you gotta really earn that pizza, Dan.
Okay, listen. Frustrated. I'm frustrated.
Sure. But the collection's good though, right? Like
instead of throwing my controller because it's the only game we have to play.
Right.
Exit out. Go play something else. The collection is good. I like the way they present it. Each game is sort of presented like in a comic book fashion, where like it goes to this page or it goes to this page for this game, right? And it tells you, has a little icon at the bottom to tell you how many players can play the game and where it's from. So you have like the arcade and it says 4P, so you know 4 players can play this, or have the SNES controller 2P, so you know this is the SNES game. So I like that part.
Nice.
I like when you pause it. They have the strategy guide to where you can just pull up the strategy guide for whatever level you're on, and it'll, you know, I think the issue, if you can call it an issue, is you can't just read the strategy guide by itself. Like it can only pop it up in the game in the level that you're at.
Oh sure, yeah.
So it would have been nice if you can like go to options and then go see the different strategy guides for each game and just read them. So I played Tournament Fighters. I played Part 1, Nintendo, the first one. I played the arcade game, and of course I played Turtles in Time, the SNES version, which is my top 10 games of all time.
It's a great beat 'em up, yeah.
But I definitely want to go back and play some more, and that's probably what I'm going to do on our Labor Day, our long Labor Day weekend.
Nice. All right.
So, with that said, Dave, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into the top gaming news of last week. And we're back. All right, Dave. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. And let's start with Ubisoft. Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed game, was leaked prior to this. Nobody knew if this was real. It was just a leak. But I guess, you know, Ubisoft said, screw it. Let's just confirm it. And that's what they did. The new Assassin's Creed game, Mirage, is real. And the next Ubisoft Forward event, which is scheduled for September 10th, they will give the full reveal, which I'm sure they were trying to keep it in-house to make it like a big surprise.
Right.
Screw it. It's a week from now. Let's just confirm it.
I'm surprised they didn't throw this up at one of the Summer of Games or E3 presentations and whatnot, because it's been 4 years since the last Assassin's Creed game, since Origins. As long as you don't count the HD remaster of 3.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out in 2020.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about Valhalla. You know, that game. That game that you and me both bought.
Which was my first next gen game.
Right.
It was my first next gen game.
Same.
That I got without having a next gen console because it worked on the Xbox One.
That's right. It is cross compatible.
Speaking of the game that you totally forgot, the protagonist, believed to be Basin in the new game, he appeared in Valhalla. So
interesting. I did not get that far.
Well, we don't know.
I should go back and play that.
It's actually really good. It's actually a really good game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's not. We don't know really what time period it is, but we do know. Well, it's leaked. If the leak is true, it's going to be in Baghdad, Iraq.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, if Bossum is in Valhalla, then it's whatever 9th, 10th, 11th century, whenever that took place. But yeah, as in like the region, it does look very Middle Eastern, which is it's a good area. I think in Revelations, Ezio was in Turkey for a bit, which was cool. And in the original, he was in and around like Jerusalem, which is, around that area. So,
I mean, we talked about it before. Like we wanted to see something in China, right? Or Japan, not the side game that they made that was in China, but like a full-fledged.
Yeah, like a big 3D
mainline. Yeah. And in China, that would have been cool. And I still think they're working on it. I think that's something that's coming up, because you could do a lot of things with that and make like a trilogy just from that alone.
Oh, right? Sure.
Different time periods.
Oh, sure.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I even heard somebody say they wanted something in Australia.
Sure. Seems like that's a lot of wilderness, right? Especially since it wouldn't be modern day, right? It would be in the past at some point in time. You'd have to be in like Sydney or Canberra or one of the major hubs, I guess, towards the coastline. But
I would be cool with that, and you could change it up and make it something different. Just to have something different, like we have the same thing over and over again. So I would like a China. I would like a early Australia, maybe, or sort of like Africa, not Egypt. we have
right. Yeah, I would love to see
Morocco. Do something.
Morocco
else.
would be awesome. South America, anywhere in South America, Brazil or Argentina or something could be cool.
Brazil, definitely.
We've never seen that. Yeah, never seen anything in Australia. Russia, kind of, but not like a full-fledged one in Russia. Russia would be awesome. Early 19th century Russia.
So if they're going to announce this, let's just stick to Ubisoft's original plan. If they're going to announce this, if they were originally said we're going to announce this September 10th, this is not something that's coming out this year, do you think? This is the next year game.
I wouldn't say that.
You would announce it September 10th and it's coming out next month? Because Assassin's Creed games usually come out like in October.
They've done things like that before. Well, it would match with the schedule of like every 2 years, right? Because that was kind of their thing. They didn't want to do yearly releases because they were starting to get a little stale and everyone was kind of like, getting a little fatigued by it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out this year. Because, I mean, they've been working on it well before Valhalla came out, right? They have different studios, different teams, building on the successes of the previous games, but you can have multiple games in production at one time. Probably uses the same engine that Valhalla uses, right? I think that was an overhaul of their engine for, like, next-gen consoles. I don't know. I would not be surprised if they said, like, coming out November 15th or whatever. But I could also see it coming out 2023. But I would say at the latest, Christmas 1 of 2023. Yeah.
Wow. You don't think they would announce it now for a next year release and make sure it has no glitches, no issues, put all the microtransactions they want in it?
Of course. You got to do that.
Come on.
You got to do that.
All right. You know what?
The thousands of markers on the map that'll give you FOMO. Ugh.
If you say it's coming out this year, then I'm gonna take next year. They're gonna announce it for 2023, and it's current gen only. It's not coming out on PS4. Not coming out.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not. They're already beyond that now. Yeah.
If it comes out this year, it's a possibility it could be the last PS4 and Xbox One game.
Oh, maybe they'll do that. I don't think they will. I don't think they will.
Consoles are still hard to get. I think it's a possibility.
They're not incredibly easy to get, but you could get one. You could get one.
So, all right, let's shift focus. Let's talk about Sony and their new acquisitions. Well, this one, not so much an acquisition, if not, strengthening their stake in, a studio. So Tencent and Sony have acquired more shares of developer From Software. So Tencent now will hold 16.25%, and Sony will now hold 14.09%.
This is good. This is good. If for some reason Sony was able to acquire the company, because Tencent's involved, highly doubtful, because they're a huge company, but if they were somehow able to acquire them and make the Souls-like games exclusive to their platform, that would be huge.
Well,
that would be huge.
Now, I think they, I don't have it in front of me. I think they had like a 10%. Now they just increased it to like 14.09% stake in FromSoft. But we've already seen sort of, like the Dark Souls remake that was exclusive to PlayStation, right?
The
Demon Souls
remake. Well, that was exclusively a PS3 game.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That was an exclusive PS3 game, exclusive PS5 launch title, right?
Sure.
Bloodborne, exclusive to PS4.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. Sony's had the marketing for a lot of these games.
That actually brings up an interesting question. Do you think the fact that they own a little bit more will allow Sony to say, "Hey, Bloodborne 2"? Because everyone wants it.
I think they want to, but FromSoft has said that this brings in an influx of cash so they can make different style games like Sekiro, like Elden Ring, right? Instead of spinning off remakes and doing sequels, they want to do different style, different stories, different style of Souls games. So I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I guarantee you Sony wants a Bloodborne 2. I just don't know if having 14% will push that, because remember, Tencent has 16%, and Tencent wants it to go on every platform so they can make the money.
Well, they could do Bloodborne 2 multi-platform. I mean,
Yeah, but I don't think, well, just as we don't know if Sony sort of owns the name Bloodborne, like we don't know how that works.
Right.
So we don't. So Sony could. I don't know, and I could be wrong in this, but Sony could own the IP, right, or own the name or own the rights. So, they famously said there will be no sequel to Bloodborne. So and we haven't.
And they say a lot of things.
We never got a sequel to Sekiro, right? The next game was Elden Ring. So
I mean,
will we get a sequel to Elden Ring? Because Elden Ring was so big, will there be an Elden Ring 2, or will they do something else?
I mean, they could go back to Sekiro. We did get Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, or kind of one after the other. I don't know. I mean, I could. What
was the mech game that FromSoft made back in the PS2 era?
Armored Core?
Yeah, Armored Core. We get a new Armored Core game. That would be great. That was rumored too, by the way. That was
they made a ton of them. Yeah, that would be kind of awesome. Really, kind of talk about a complete 180.
Yeah,
we're in this high fantasy, dark fantasy world, right? Going around fighting these big beasts and whatnot, and then mechs. We'll do mechs next.
You could do something totally different, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. They went from Demon Souls to Dark Souls to, and again, I know my order is out of whack.
To Bloodborne.
Wanted to do Bloodborne to Sekiro, which is more samurai style, right? And now they're doing Elden Ring, where that's totally different, right?
Yeah.
So I could see them doing something like that. But speaking of sticking with Sony and acquisitions, they acquired more shares from FromSoft, but they did acquire a studio as well the same day, Savage Game Studios.
Unfamiliar with them.
They just formed like 2 years ago into 2020. They'll join the company's newly created PlayStation Studios mobile division. The new division will operate independently from PlayStation consoles development, and instead of focusing, instead it will focus on like innovative on-the-go experiences based on new and existing PlayStation IP. And this studio, Savage Games Studio, is working on a brand new, unannounced AAA mobile live service action game.
You said a bunch of words there, Dan. I don't know if I like all those words in that order, in that exact sentence. I like some of those words.
Well, think about Sony. Sony, the bread and butter is the first person narrative, driven action games.
Right.
The PlayStation brand. They've acquired Fire Sprite, and there was another studio to make VR games. They've acquired another studio off the top of my head. I can't think of him, going blank, to port games and make games for, port games to PC, because they're making a PC push. It may not be out day and date as a PlayStation game, but it should be out maybe 6 months to a year later out on PC, right? And obviously Sony is a hardware company who still makes phones for some damn reason. And people still buy them for some. And people still buy them for some reason.
Still making Xperia phones?
All you got to do is look at any James Bond movie, even the new ones. James Bond, for some reason, doesn't have an iPhone, doesn't even have an Android. He has a Sony phone.
Sony Xperia, yeah.
He has a Sony phone. So, so they do have, so they do want to, reach into that mobile space. I always look at it like this. Sony is like the best of the worst of Nintendo and Xbox put together, right? Like I always look at them like that. They have one foot in the door of everything.
Right.
Where like Microsoft says we're going to focus on this and that's it, and Nintendo says we're going to focus on this and that's it. Sony says this is what we do, but we're going to put a foot here, we're going to put a foot here, we're going to compete with Nintendo, we're going to compete with Xbox, we're going to compete with everybody. Right? Like they had a portable, nobody else had a portable other than Nintendo. Right? So they definitely want to go mobile. I can understand it. I could see that. We did have a pretty damn good God of War mobile game back in the day, which I wish we could still play.
I remember that God of War mobile. It was good for its time. Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying it holds up. I'm just saying at the time it was a highly rated AAA mobile game.
It was. I remember playing it on my Motorola Razr.
Wow, you're taking it back.
Downloaded that game. Yeah, it was. It was actually pretty good. I remember having a good time with it.
I just want to say, side note, I invented the iPhone. Did you know that?
You're Tim Apple?
I invented the. I'll tell you why. Circuit City days. It was Circuit City days. I was talking to Brooke. You know who Brooke is.
Yeah.
Little inside baseball. Brooke, me and him ran a department that we were at. Okay. And, I was cool. I was a cool dude. I had on my hip, because, everything came with a belt clip. Because, putting everything on your belt. You can't put it in your pocket. You had to have it on your belt.
No.
It was on your belt. I had the Sidekick 2 on my belt. I had the Razr, brand new Razr, on my belt. No, not the Sidekick. I had the Trio. I had the Trio.
Palm Trio, yeah.
Palm Trio on my belt. I had the Razr on my belt, because you had to have both. Okay, you can't have one of those. You had to have both, because you're cool. And I had an iPod on my belt. And I looked at Brooke, and I said, only if my iPod was a phone, I wouldn't have to have all these things on my belt. I guarantee you, a week later, the iPhone was announced. I did it because of me. I did it.
You somehow psychically influenced Tim Apple to create the iPhone.
I did. I said, only if my iPod, I can use my iPod as a phone. I wouldn't need all these other things on my belt.
No, exactly. And
it happened. So, just a side note. I invented the iPhone. Okay? That's the name of the show. Dan invented the iPhone. I can't wait. I would want to see a Horizon Zero Dawn mobile game.
Sure.
Right?
I think that'd be cool.
do something like that. It could be like an endless runner. It could be anything. I mean, I could see that being an endless runner, just like in that world, in that stage. I could see. I mean, listen, if we can have Final Fantasy mobile games, we can have take some of these lesser known IPs and turn them mobile, right? You can do gotcha mechanics and all these other things that mobile games do.
Yeah,
right?
see, that's where I'm out. There's the Final Fantasy Brave Xevious, and there's like 3 or 4 of them. Opera Omnia, I think, is a thing. Maybe, I don't know. I've like taken a look at them. They're all that gotcha mechanic stuff. They're all terrible. They're like just auto battlers, or they have like strong gotcha mechanics and whatever. And it's cool. They got all the nostalgia heartstrings they're pulling on. It's cool, but like the core gameplay mechanic, I'm out. So I could do an endless runner in the Horizon universe. That would be cool, because you could just kind of play it, when you have some free time, pick it up, put it down. That could be kind of cool. It's a little hard to do a full-fledged 3D.
Parappa the Rapper game. Come on.
Sure. Tap to the beat. Yeah.
Tap to the beat. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can do that.
That I could get behind.
So, all right. Any of those games you play, you can, I'm sure there's a way people, you can stream all of those games on Twitch, on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't be able to stream it on Facebook gaming app. Because Meta, which is still weird to say, has officially announced that they are shutting down a Facebook gaming app. This was supposed to be a platform to rival Twitch and YouTube. A recent report that came out from a research firm, Streamlabs, stated that the second quarter of 2022, only 7.9% of all hours watched were on Facebook. While 76.7% and 15.4% were on Twitch and YouTube, respectively. So, 15% was terrible, and that's YouTube, right? And Meta got half of that.
Right.
Facebook got half of that.
Right.
So, Xbox or Microsoft, they were in the streaming. They try to get in the streaming sphere, right? And they famously got paid a bunch of streamers a lot of money, guaranteed money to come over.
Yeah.
And that didn't work, and they shut down. I think they shut that down like a year ago, right?
So, it's more than a year ago, I think. Yeah, I mean, famously, Ninja got paid a hefty sum of money. He got the bag to come over and play like Gears of War specifically, because that was Microsoft's hot game at the time. So they're like, you're going to be a Gears guy, and it immediately folded, and he went right back to Twitch, and he made so much bank on that. It's crazy. So it's very hard to do, like YouTube's gaming initiative. Not great. I remember when that came out, people were trying it out. They're like, yeah, it's just not as good as Twitch. Twitch is king, man. 76%. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So it'll officially shut down October 28th, by the way.
Right. There is actually some rumors that Ninja is going to move to YouTube now.
Yes, I heard
there is some talk about that, right? Because he kind of said some things on stream. I think he lost his Twitch verified check mark or whatever, which kind of gives you a bunch of things. Like you get that, I think, when you're exclusive to the platform, right? You're not just a partner, but like you're like
remember, there's no
branded.
love loss. There's no love loss between Ninja and Twitch, right? Like it ended. Originally it ended on like bad terms, and then when he left, and then he came back because he didn't really have a choice. He wanted to make some more money, right?
Well, yeah, and Twitch isn't going to say no. He's still got fire. They're like, yeah, we'll give you tons of money. It's fine.
But I'm sure there's no love lost there. I'm sure there's no love lost.
No, not at all.
All right, switch gears. No pun intended. To Xbox. The one thing I want Xbox to, just so you know, my free trial is over. Okay, I am now paying for Games Pass. Okay,
I told you. You were like, why am I going to do this? I don't want this. I don't need this.
I am still on the fence. I've only paid one. Okay, so September is month number 2. I'm paying. So I'm still on the fence. I don't know if I'm going to cancel it yet.
Ugh.
Okay, don't ever cancel it. I
Yeah.
just need Xbox Live with Gold. That's all I need. I don't need Games Pass. But I will say, because I'm paying for it, I am actively looking to see what I can play on it because I'm actually paying for it every month.
Right.
Which I know it's the same thing, but I want them to put out a yearly payment. Just say, hey, whatever, was $180, just say, hey, pay for the year. All right? Because I feel obligated now to look, and I don't like any of the games I see. Because I'm like, I don't want to play in these games, at least right now. But I feel obligated to do this because I pay it every month. I see it on my credit card statement every time, every month because I pay for it. If I had to pay it yearly, I wouldn't feel that way because it would be like, I already paid for this and I have it for a certain amount of time.
Oh, so you want to just kind of set it and forget it and then just have it as a thing, and then
yes,
you can kind of go, you don't feel pressured to like, well, I already paid another $15. Let's see what they got. They already got you for it, so.
I don't feel pressured to play some of these old terrible games on a Nintendo Online system, right? I check it out. I see it's cool, and then I'm like, all right, I know that's there if I want to use it for anything like Saturday Morning Retro, if I want to use it for a Saturday Morning Retro game. Same thing with PlayStation, right? I have PlayStation Premium. I have the big tier. It cost me like $160, $50, right?
Yep.
All together.
Yep.
I know they're there. I don't feel pressure to go play them because when I do go play them, I play them straight, like 2-3 months, right? Like I'm playing a bunch of games. I want to play something for Saturday Morning Retro. I feel, and this is all perspective, I feel obligated to like something on Games Pass because I'm paying for it every month, $15 a month.
Yeah. I get it.
So I just want, all I want them to do, again, I'm not asking for a discount, even though, get the rated G discount, that would be great. I just want to pay you up front for the year, because I like to renew everything in January, the beginning of the year, and forget about it. But something else that other people have been asking for looks like it's coming to fruition. Xbox Games Pass has officially revealed Friends and Family Plan.
Now, this does come with a discount, right? Because you get I guess you get up to 4 people on a single account.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's only available in Ireland and Colombia for right now. I'm sure this is sort of like a test run, see how it goes.
Right.
And then they'll roll out in other territories. Games Pass Ultimate is about €12.99, which is around $15. While the Friends and Family Plan will be €21.99, which is the equivalent of $25.
Right. And then you split that between 5 people.
Yeah, which isn't that bad. That's actually pretty good.
Not bad. That's amazing. Because, look at it this way. Here's what's going to happen with this, right? Yes, families are going to use it, right? Families with multiple kids or whatever. So then, the parents can each have their own account, and then up to 3 kids, or maybe even 5 kids if the parents don't play video games, on a single account. So that's $5 per head, which is pretty good. The real benefit is me, you, and 3 of our friends. We just put all our accounts together, and now we're paying $5 a month as opposed to $15 for a single membership, because they're not going to really monitor who's who, right? It's just 5 different email addresses or whatever that come together. So
that's true.
That anytime you can save money in that way is the way to go.
So, all right. Lastly, I told you earlier I'm playing the Cowabunga collection, and we talked about it a month or 2 ago where, Shredder's Revenge is a really good game. I like the game, but it to me, it doesn't pass Turtles in Time for the SNES. Still the best Turtles game ever, in my opinion.
Wow,
Still
okay.
My top 3 games of all time, by the way. But looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles may be getting a brand new AAA game to be released next year. This was found in a September issue of Toy World. In an official update from Paramount, the owner of Nickelodeon, which owns Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
A brand new AAA video game will be released, and it's tentatively planned to launch next year in 2023. So the last, I guess, AAA style Turtles game that we got was the one that was on Xbox One, PS4. It was made by Platinum, published by Activision.
Right.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
Right. Which is uncommon for Platinum. They usually put out Platinum level games. They live up to their name usually.
It was terrible. Before that, I think it was TMNT. It was called just T. It wasn't called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was called TMNT, and that came out on the PS3 and 360.
That was the Smash Brothers brawler?
No. That was no. You're talking about Smash Up. It was like TMNT Smash Up.
Right.
That came out for the Wii and PS2.
Oh, okay. That was a while ago then. Okay.
It came out for the Wii and PS2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last good AAA style Turtles game was the trilogy that came out like on the Xbox, PS2. No. Yeah. It was Xbox, PS2, and GameCube era. All right. That was like the last like good AAA Turtles game. So
Sure.
I'm a little hesitant. I know I'm usually the one that's a little bit more optimistic on things. All right. It'll probably be good. Let's wait and see. I don't know about this one because who's making it? We don't know. And we got this out of an article of Toy World, right?
Well,
we haven't heard any rumors from Jason Schreier. We haven't heard any rumors from IGN or anything, any leaks of any kind. Like, who's making this game where no one's even heard anything?
that's an interesting take. I see where you're coming from. It is from a bit of an odd source, right? Why is the leak coming that way as opposed to why was it not at a showcase, right? The announcement of it is just kind of like...
It's not like someone just came out and said, Jason Schreier says, you know what, I heard from the grapevine, I can't reveal my sources, that we're going to a new AAA Turtles game that's like an open world themed, you know, like how good could this game be if no one's heard of it?
Well, I mean, it's still in production. They don't have anything to show yet. He just kind of let the cat out of the bag and said, hey, we're working on something. We got something big coming.
Well,
now,
if it's slated for a 2023 release, it's practically done at this point.
I mean, yeah. Depending on the studio, it's really, to me, it's the studio who's been working on it and then how long they've been working on it. What I think it's going to be is just another 3D brawler in the vein of all the other 3D brawlers that have come out prior. What I would want, because I know we talked about this, like, we talked about this a little beforehand. I want Spider-Man style game, but with the Turtles. How good would that be? Because it's in New York, right? So they can run around New York.
It is.
And you could switch between the 4 turtles or, put in some narrative where you play as certain turtles at certain times, right? You can go all over New York. You can head down into the sewers because that's a whole system.
It would have to be sewer based, right? Like you would start in the sewer or something like that. But okay. How about this? We didn't talk about this part. This just came to my mind. You can throw this in there. You play as certain turtles for certain events. And certain turtles, like if you play as Donatello, it's a stealth game, right? Like Donatello has to sneak into the building and steal the ooze, and you have you're trying to open the doors, right? And then
because he's the inventor, he makes all the gadgets.
Yeah. So when he's trying to hack in, and then you got to do those hacky mini games like you did in Spider-Man or in Batman. Right? Like you got to do those little so when you play as Donatello, you're doing stealth, you're doing that. When you play as Raphael, it's more of, okay, bring him on and you're fighting, right? Like it's a big fight, right? And then when you're playing as Michelangelo, it could be sort of silly, goofing around, more fun.
Sure.
And you can have different gameplay elements for each turtle. And then, Raphael is the leader and he's facing the boss, right? That's the boss battles.
Yep.
When you're playing as Leonardo, you're facing the boss. That's it.
Right. And like, think about it. Like, you have the sewers. You could put Leatherhead, who is an alligator, put him down in the sewers. Is great. Baxter Stockman could have his own, like, research tower a la Doc Ock, right? Oh,
yeah, and Donatello is the one that's sneaking in, stealing the ooze from him.
Yep.
And they get into a little bit of a battle. it gets, thrown outside, and then Leonardo takes over because that's the boss battle.
All right, well, this game writes itself then.
There you go.
This is what this has to be now. But it won't. It probably won't.
Paramount. That was free.
There you go.
Can hire us to do the rest.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, that's it for the news. That's all I got. Dave, you got any good extended weekend plans? This is Labor Day episode. You got any Labor Day plans?
Definitely is Labor Day weekend. We got a nice little extended vacation going on. Weather's still holding up pretty nicely. It is
heat wave, thank God.
I know.
It's supposed to rain on Monday though.
That's okay. It's okay. We could use a little bit of rain. It's my favorite time of the year. It's fall. Football season's starting up right now. Halloween's right around the corner, so I am
around the corner. I think it's still like a couple of train stops away.
A couple of train stops away. Not to me, baby. Not to me. Listen, Starbucks put out their pumpkin spice latte.
I know. I got my first. I felt weird to have my pumpkin spice latte in August because it was August 31st.
Right. Yeah. It's all good. It's the best time of the year. So just kind of making the Halloween plans, trying to get that all together, working on my costume. I got some ideas still in the hopper. Nothing's concrete just yet, but I think I got a good idea of what I'm going to do. So I'll work on that, and I'm gonna go and finish up Eye of the Beholder. I still got the end of part 2 and part 3 to get through, so definitely looking forward to that.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So I bought a new MacBook Pro, right, with the M1 Pro chip.
Very nice.
It was expensive, but I had to do it for the show and just had to do it in general because my MacBook was getting a little bit slow.
It was, it was up there on its last legs.
It was about 7 years old, so
yeah.
But I just found out that Best Buy has the same laptop for $400 cheaper. So now there's a two. Now I got to decide because you only have 2 weeks to return it for a full refund.
Yep, swap that out, baby.
Do I want to go and take it back, get the refund, and then go spend it? The refund's not going to be automatic, right? It takes like 4 or 5 days. So my credit card is still going to show, that amount of money, and I got to go to Best Buy, and hopefully they have the one I want, in the color that I want in stock. So
what I would do, if feasible, is to get the new one now, do the full transfer, so that you don't have to reset everything up and then.
Well, no, I don't. I don't have to do any of that. Everything is connected to my Apple ID and it's on the cloud. So all I got to do is.
All of your program settings still save?
Yeah, all I got to do is log out and erase the laptop. That's it.
Sure.
And log in on my new laptop. Log in and everything will be there. The only thing I have to download would be Discord for the show and Chrome.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could eliminate all of that, I don't know how many other programs you have to set up, but
those take 2 seconds. Those 2 seconds to install.
Sure.
So, no.
Sure.
All right. There was no issues. Passwords, everything is like done. Everything is saved. Mm-hmm. Everything is on your Apple ID.
Okay.
That's the one thing that's pretty good. So everything automatically downloads. So
right.
I have to decide if I really want to go through all that. So because you have to make an appointment at the Apple Store to do anything, and they may not have any appointments available. So I have to go check.
Oh, to save $400, 100%, I would do that. Come on now.
I know, because you're cheap.
Because I'm cheap, Dan. It's $400. All right, $400. You take that money. That's free money right there.
We'll see.
All right. Well, that is episode 329 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.